Hey guys, welcome to what is going to be episode 3 of Chatting Shit, the Matthew Brewer podcast. Matthew is apparently too busy counting all of his YouTube money this weekend. Apparently he's got so much of it that, you know, he has to dedicate like weeks at a time just to count the stacks. So he's like, you know, I got too much work on, let's get somebody else to host. And he's asked me, and I've put a ragtag group of some of the world's best battlers together and me to talk about the Prismatic Cup. I'm sure you guys have heard about the Prismatic Cup. If not, it is very similar to the Rose Cup from season 2 in that it's a whitelist meta and it focuses on the color of Pokemon. So it's another one of those cups where it's like team building exercise. How well can you make a team work? Yeah, it looks really, really interesting. I've looked at the PvP Poke rankings, and Flygon is really high up on the rankings, so you know it's going to be wacky. But yeah, so do you guys want to go around and introduce yourselves? Josh, would you like to start? Or Sir Corey?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Josh, otherwise known as Sir Corey in game. I like to battle. I like a little bit of spice now and then. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of me.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest, like, yeah, Josh, you've been putting in the absolute work this season. What's your current rank in the UK currently?
4th, I think.
4th. Nice. Leading us nicely on to Andrew. Andrew, what's your current rank in the UK?
I'm 3rd at the moment, yeah.
3rd? Oh!
Bastard.
Nice. I'm sure people know who you are, Andrew, Nezabethan. But would you like to give a quick introduction about yourself?
Well, I will say that I think Josh has... I think he's been a little bit more consistent this season than I have. I think he's just waited slightly worse tournaments in a couple of months, so I'm not sure I entirely deserve to be ahead of him. But you know, I'll take it while I am.
Man, Josh, that's gonna sting more when he's so nice about it too.
Yeah, I know. That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah, so I suppose that's me. Currently 3rd in the UK, like 50 or 60 in the world, 55, something like that. I think I was fairly similar last season. I finished 2nd in the UK and was, what did I finish? 60th in the world, I think. So yeah, that's me. Not sure what else there is to say.
You're an article contributor to, is it Ghost Stadium?
Oh yeah. I do work for Ghost Stadium as well. Yeah. Contribute some articles, make some graphics.
Yeah, you guys might recognize some. If we posted some of his graphics up on the screen, not that I have the technology to do that, I'm not bloody Iron Man, but yeah, I'm sure you'd recognize some of Andrew's graphics. There's always a lovely little bin in the bottom right corner with the Pokemon that I'm thinking about running. Cool. And Mango, so Matthew often doesn't have people outside of the UK on his podcast, but in the 3 episodes that have been hosted by guest producers, we've got we've had a little bit of foreign variety, so I'm sure people know who you are, but would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm from Canada. I am 0 in the UK because I'm obviously not from there, but 5th in Canada. Was higher, but very bad Vortex month, so I am in the pits, but hoping to make a comeback for Prism Cup. And people might know me from my Twitter commentary. So there's that.
Potty-mouthed Twitter commentary. Yeah, no, very, very entertaining. We love them. Cool. Right, so I guess we will get straight into the picks. Josh, you're going to go first, and your pick is Ampharos, which is the which is the yellow category, right? As if it must be red because of its forehead or something.
If it isn't, then I've made a grave mistake.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up a little graphic so I can have it next to me at the same time. Yeah, so the 6 categories are blue, red, yellow, white, green, black, brown, pink, and purple, grey. And this covers the yellow, white category. So yeah, elaborate away.
Sure. I like I like Ampharos. It's quite a safe Pokemon if you can swap into it and avoid Flygon, which is going to be everywhere, as you said. So yeah, let's get the weaknesses out of the way first. Avoid the hell out of Flygon. It pretty much walls you completely. Yeah, sure, if you can get to a Focus Blast, you'll hurt it, but it's bad news no matter how you look at it. It pretty much it's 4 times resisting your Volt Switches, so don't rely on any chip damage there. So okay, yeah, so that and Whimsicott are probably the biggest counters to it. Whimsicott is probably the most popular Charmer at the moment, which is really frustrating because that Park Grass type actually hinders Electric quite a lot. But again, you know, if you can land a Focus Blast, which is also resisted, you might be okay. But no, in actual fact, I think you probably are better off just going straight Thunder Punch. Honestly, just Thunder Punch spamming. But you'll be dead
Focus
before you
Blast
even
has
get.
a higher DPE.
Is it higher DPE? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're doomed either way. Even if you land the Focus Blast, you can't kill it. You're just you're pretty much screwed.
You always run the return Ampharos.
We're getting
Good old return, Ampharos.
Yeah, so
we're getting there. So that's if you're running Focus Blast. Of course, it does have other charge moves. It has Dragon Pulse, which would instantly kill the Flygon if you so chose.
Focus Blast probably one shots.
I
That's
imagine
it.
so. Yeah, Flygon's so squishy.
Yeah, Dragon Blast is a bit faster than Focus Blast, but I wouldn't be surprised if Focus Blast one shots anyway.
I'm not even sure if Focus Blast does one-shot Flygon. I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It does 86% apparently.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, so it actually survives the Focus Blast. But yeah, Flygon's a problem. But yeah, okay, yeah, so it has Dragon Pulse, which, you know, if you really, really hate Flygon, or Dragonite, or Kingdra, which is also probably going to be around, you might want it, but I probably wouldn't take it. It's
How likely are you going to be able to reach it though, right? Like, you probably would never be able to get to, or...
Well, it's only 4 Volt Switches to a Dragon Pulse as opposed to 5 for a Focus Blast.
Focus Blast, yeah.
Yeah, so it is quicker, but it's just worse. It's worse in every. If you had Mega Ampharos and it had Stab, maybe. But no, we're not going to go there. Megas aren't allowed. Okay, so yeah, and its other move you can have on it is Return.
Mm-hmm.
I think some shenanigans are required for Return on a Great League Ampharos. Just double check.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, so you would need to trade. You would need to have a Mareep on a lower level account, purify it, and then trade it over to get a Return Ampharos for Great League. But it is possible.
We've already been over this week earlier when we were talking about Porygon 2, and
oh yeah,
a disgusting return would be on Porygon 2. Yes,
and I learned it from actually Andrew from his Ultra League Premier Ampharos return pick. It's just fantastic because return is exactly what you need against something like a Whimsicott. You know, it's the nuke that you actually want to kill things that would otherwise resist Focus Blast.
I think we took it from Andrew.
It's good in Ultra Premier.
I absolutely rely on my Ampharos in Ultra Premier because I said earlier in the week, didn't I, as well? I said that if we had like little portraits made of ourselves with our iconic Pokemon, for me, Andrew would be side by side with this Ampharos because of how much I associate it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, it's been fantastic.
It's just so good. You come up against people who are like running Dragonite, they're running Venusaur, and they're like, oh, I don't need to shield anything out of an Ampharos, and then you flip it, and then they have to shield the
landing a return on a Venusaur is definitely one of the highlights of it. But so it's definitely an option in this cup. There is a slight problem, and that is that Ferrothorn is a pick in Prismatic, and it's a popular pick. It's really good, and you actually want Focus Blast for that. If you run Thunder Punch and Return, then you're just you're shit out of luck. But basically, don't get stuck into a battle with a Ferrothorn if that's the case. But we'll see. You know, it's definitely one of those Pokemon that has different like options. You could even run, if you were crafty, you could run a purified Ampharos, but don't run Return.
I love it.
So they see that you have a purified Ampharos, and they think, this bastard's got Return, and then you just don't.
And then you
throw a Focus Blast them or something.
Or you Elite TM it and you Dragon Pulse them.
Yeah. As I
Then you
say,
suck
there's
again.
definitely some.
Or if you evolved it during the event, you were prepared ahead of time. You evolved it a couple of months ago.
Yes, if you are somehow a time traveler and you thought of that, then yeah. But yeah, I like it because of its moveset, and it is actually really good against the meta in general as a swap. It trashes Talonflame, it trashes stuff like Pelipper, Gyarados, which is apparently being a popular pick.
Mm-hmm.
It can beat. It beats Lantern. I do believe it beats Kingdra, but that's assuming you don't get an Octazooka debuff. Like really strong.
Is that bait
picks.
dependent? Do you need to land the Focus Blast against
I'm
Kingdra?
not sure. I think if you get the debuff, you're screwed either way.
Right.
No, I really like it as a pick. I rate it. I guess it's interesting that I'm looking at this little meta simplified guide, and they electric isn't really mentioned too much. It's more like you've got your fire, water, grass triangle, and then you've got your fighters on the outside, and then you've got Hypno kind of like being that one that can beat all of them if it's the right Hypno, and then you've got the dragons at the bottom. That's the one that I'm looking at, and yeah, they haven't really mentioned any electric pick outside of Lantern. And yeah, there's only one Mud Boy in this cup, and it's Quagsire, so that's a bonus for Ampharos as well. Yeah, keep it away from the Flygon, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's really safe, and it can do a lot to anything. What do you think about it taking Hypno's spot, though? How important do you think Hypno is going to be this meta?
Well, it's probably going to be the most picked, right? It's the best. It is by far the best pick. So the problem with picking Ampharos is you solidify certain matchups and you make other matchups a bit RPSy, which is again not depending on which move you take, Return or Focus Blast. That can be a benefit, but Hypno is just so powerful and so bulky that it's going to dominate the meta. Now, funnily enough, with a 1 Volt Switch advantage, you actually leave Hypno on 2 HP in a battle, wow. Which is it's a loss. Yes, it's a loss, but it's a very close loss, and I think that requires them landing the Shadow Ball. If you can shield the Shadow Ball, I believe you can actually come out ahead. This is assuming, of course, they're running Thunder Punch Shadow Ball, which I think is the current meta moveset for Prismatic.
That's close enough to be affected by IVs as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, IVs would come into play. Yeah, exactly. I assume if the Hypno's got more bulk, it'll probably be like 8 HP more. But yeah, essentially, it's not like a doomed matchup. It's not like you're picking Ampharos and you're screwed against Hypno. No, not true at all. So Ampharos also gets Power Gem. I don't know if any of you knew.
No, I actually did not know that.
I've seen it.
Yeah. And so I was.
That's his worst move.
I was looking at it and I was thinking, okay, is there any way? Because I like to do a little bit of spice. I was like, is there any way I can make this work? And the answer is no. The answer is always just no. Don't bother. Don't even try it. It's just terrible. You don't need it. Yeah. You don't need it. Yeah, like Talonflame already dies to electric. Like you beat Frostlass anyway. Just going straight electric. Like just don't. Just don't.
God, that
is his weakest move as well, because even Dragon Pulse gets stabbed, and Dragon Pulse is an exceptionality. And I think Power Gem's got weaker parameters, and it doesn't get stabbed. It's just a really crap move on Ampharos.
Yeah, Ampharos.
Whereas at least Focus Blast and Return are powerful moves, but Power Gem's just bad.
Power Gem.
So, what does Ampharos overwhelmingly pick up that you're choosing it over Hypno or the other electrics like Zapdos, Raichu? What specific matchup are you going for here?
It's bulkier, so it can better handle stuff like Dragonite, which takes neutral damage from electric, obviously, Dragon flying. So it can actually tank a move. It's stuff like, obviously Wild Charge is a devastating move if it lands on a Dragonite, but I believe there's some trickery in that matchup specifically with Raichu, where it can get pretty rough because of the sheer damage of Dragon Breath. If you debuff yourself, you're screwed.
So what do you end up pairing with Ampharos then if you're losing your only, or not your only, but your main sort of like, I guess, Blaziken counter, or like something that, like, you know, a very strong pick and Hypno that's kind of anti-fighter, if a Chesnaught or a Hitmontop come along, like are you pairing it with like, I don't know, Talonflame or something, or?
Talonflame works. Basically, you need something that gets rid of Flygon completely.
Right.
And also,
forgot about
that's your biggest problem. That can also handle Quagsire, and also handles the grasses, because Ampharos doesn't do too well against grasses. For that reason, I actually really like pairing it up with Jumpluff. Jumpluff is bulky as well, which is really nice. It can handle Flygon. If it's got Stone Edge, it can still tank a Stone Edge. It's all right. But if it's got Earth Power, Flygon is just dead in the water against you. It can handle Whimsicott because it's bulky enough to get off multiple stuff. It can handle obviously Meganium and Chestnut. Chestnut doesn't even want to see Jumpluff. Tangrowth is a bit of an issue, which I think is going to be a very popular safe swap in this meta. But it's tanky enough to eat rock slides, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it can also take on fighters, as you say, like with Blaziken and whatnot.
Cool.
I think the main advantage of.
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, on the comparison between Ampharos and other electrics, I think the main advantage of it is it's got the much better Ferrothorn matchup, because the other electrics are generally resisted or like break, which doesn't do enough damage anyway to win the matchup. So Ampharos gives you that electric roll plus the Ferrothorn sort of threat, which the other electrics can't offer.
Yeah.
It's not even just Ferrothorn. Focus Blast will one-shot a Tangrowth as well with the Volt switches, as Andrew found out in our practice.
Cool.
Yeah, you should really you should always respect the Focus Blast, and it's a fun Pokemon that I think we'll see some form of. I mean, maybe not too common, but we'll see it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm conscious of time, so let's move on to Andrew's pick. Andrew Nezabethan is going to be talking about Gramble.
Yeah, so Gramble. So at the moment, Whimsicott's the more popular charmer, and Whimsicott, I guess, has the sort of dual role that it beats the dragons like Flygon and Kingdra, and also it beats the waters because of its grass resistances, which is quite nice. But Gramble's interesting because Whimsicott takes the green black slot, which it has some quite powerful safe swaps in, the Snorlax, Muck, and Flygon. So if you want to use any of those, you can't use Whimsicott at the same time. Also, Whimsicott has additional weaknesses because of its grass typing, whereas Gramble has fewer weaknesses. And Gramble has slightly better coverage between Crunch and Close Combat than Whimsicott has, because it can hit. There's a small number of Pokemon that resist both moves, and it can hit Talonflame for neutral. I mean, Whimsicott can hit Talonflame for neutral with Hurricane, but it takes a lot longer to get to. Whimsicott has a much harder time damaging steals. You could land a Hurricane and a Ferrothorn, but it still wouldn't kill it, whereas Close Combat's instant death for a Ferrothorn coming from a Gramble. So it has that. It doesn't beat the water types in the way that Whimsicott does, but it is probably safer than Whimsicott because it's much more threatening to steel types. It has a bit better coverage with its charge moves, and it doesn't have as many weaknesses. It offers that, and it offers that you're not taken away from the fairly powerful green-black slot.
Yeah. No, I really like that. I'm prepared to sound like an idiot when I say this, but I think that the purple-grey slot might be the weakest slot or the least important. That's my take from it. And like Ferrothorn's in it, and Ferrothorn's obviously really, really good. And I think that Ferrothorn will be a lot of people's pick for that one. There's also like Gliscor and Drifblim and Fortress. There's a few things. There's a few things in there, but I think that putting your Charmer in there is less of a detriment than taking away that. Is it green black? Did you say Whimsicott is, or is it brown?
Yeah, green black.
Yeah,
green black.
Cool.
Yeah, losing that Snorlax pick is pretty devastating.
Do you think Snorlax is going to be really, really good?
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Snorlax, what slot is that again? Is that green black?
Yeah,
that's green black, right?
It's black.
Is it green or is it black? Which criteria does it qualify?
I'm pretty sure it's black. I'm pretty sure.
Black, but yeah, it does come under slot. I think Alolan Muck is actually the best for that slot, in my opinion. I think it's just so many good like neutral matchups across the board. It's a really good safe swap. Sure, there's going to be a lot of people running Blaze and Pseudo, which could end up being a little bit of a problem. But I mean, Muck is still like across the board. It's just it'll get you out of a lot of situations that Snorlax might get you stuck against. Snorlax actually doesn't have a great dark matchup. And it doesn't have a great matchup against Pseudo or Blaze. Blaze a little bit closer though, because body slam spam and all that. But I don't know. I was not sold on Snorlax until I faced Andrew and had some problems, but so I can see a case for it now. But I mean, that's generally how I see every Pokemon.
Andrew, if you with Gramble, what are the biggest weaknesses for Gramble to face?
I'd say Talonflame is probably his best matchup, or out of the common matchups, because obviously it resists Charm. Whereas there aren't a huge number of things that don't resist Charm, that resist Charm and aren't weak to one of its moves. Because you have Poison types are pretty uncommon. The Steel types are weak to close combat anyway. But Talonflame is a bit different because it resists Charm, and you have to hit it with your weaker charge move, which is Crunch. So that's the worst matchup for it, really. But if you can avoid Talonflame, you're doing all right.
What about the spammy ghosts like Haunter and Gengar? Can it handle those?
They're I guess they're some of the most popular poison types in the format, because there's Alolan Muck, which is poison, but Alolan Muck doesn't resist Charm, so that's a more close matchup. I think if I remember Gengar versus Gramble, I think Gramble can force its way through in the 2 shields, just because the charm damage is so heavy. And but I think Gengar wins otherwise, and I think it might not matter which charge move it has, but I'm not completely sure on that sim.
Okay.
So Gengar can win the lower shields against Gramble just with Shadow Punch, but it does lose the 2 shields.
Yeah, so in that situation, you'd have to force the switch advantage through double shielding.
Yeah. Or if you get your Charm farm down, Crunch is an instant one-shot on Gengar, so...
looks like...
So in the next measurement, it's quite dangerous.
So, Mango, say again.
No, so it looks like Gengar barely even wins the one shield against... doesn't matter if you're running Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb, like Andrew said, but it wins with 11 HP. And the one shot, of course, that's ideal.
It takes
quite all that. Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
But you don't get a shield back in that scenario, so it's essentially Gramble's gone down a shield and lost.
I'm guessing the matchup could be flipped because Granbull can reach a charm breakpoint at 134 attack, so I think it just needs to be a bit more attack weighted Granbull maybe to have a chance. I don't know if it would make a huge enough difference, but looks like a slightly higher attack, you can do 1 extra charm damage.
This is an interesting thing. Sometimes it looks like the charm breakpoint isn't quite enough to win the Gengar match.
I'm looking here as well. If it gets the charm breakpoint, it looks like it might lose the bulk point against Shadow Claw. So that could be a problem as well.
It does make it closer if it gets the breakpoint, but it looks like Gengar still narrowly survives.
Yeah.
This is an interesting thing about Gramble versus Whimsicott, because Gramble's slightly glassier. It's in some matchups it does more damage with Charm, which can be critical in that Charm farm down situation where you need to kill something before it gets to a charge move, so you don't have to spend a shield or die. Gramble in some situations would have a slightly higher chance of doing that just because of its higher attack stat.
Nothing wants to be at close combat from Gramble.
I think
I don't think anything wants to be on the receiving end of charm from Granble.
That's true.
It's such a good pick. I think you're right. You don't give up that really precious green-black slot. As Elliot says, it's probably the best place to put a charmer in any of the slots, because you want to keep everything else. I quite like it. I think it's definitely going to be one of the biggest charmers that we'll see.
Oh yeah! After this podcast, everyone will jump on Granble.
I sometimes do, as a crude way of checking if something is a really hard counter, I sometimes do a 1-0 multi-sim, just because if you can't even beat something when you're up a shield, then you're probably facing quite a hard counter. And Whimsicott has much more losses in the 1-0 scenario than Granble has. I think it's like a 84% win rate for Whimsicott, whereas Granble, I think it was...
I think like 3 losses, isn't it?
No, it's more than that. So against the whole Prismatic Cup, not just the custom meta, Granble has a 94% win rate. He only has 15 losses against the whole cup, which is a fair bit higher than Whimsicott, just because it has that better coverage between its 2 moves and fewer weaknesses. So yeah, I think that's interesting. It's kind of a safer version of Whimsicott that doesn't really beat the water so reliably and doesn't use up your green black slot.
Cool. I like it.
Well, I approve of your Granble because it's not got a part grass type, so my Ampharos will be very happy.
Yeah. Cool segue.
I approve of anything that I have lost to. So.
Cool. So the next person talking about their pick is Mango, and Mango is going to be talking about Skuntank. Take it away, Mango.
Yes. So I love Skuntank. And I kind of checked out some sims. I've used it a little bit in practice. It is not like so I do have it as sort of an anti-charmer, but there is a little bit of a problem of it being an anti-charmer in that it loses the Granble in the 1 and 2 shield, and so it can actually hit a poison jab breakpoint against Granble, and it still loses in the 1 and 2 shield. Oh, so no. That's a bit of a
ouch.
It's close, but at least at least it's an option to keep it close with Granble. On the other hand, with Whimsicott, it like breakpoint, no breakpoint, it absolutely just crushes it, so which is really good to have. So that's kind of why I like Skuntank. It's a flexible Pokemon that is sort of anti-charm, but also can pick up a few other things. It's dark, which obviously really good against Hypno. Can be good against Frostlass. Again, the Frostlass matchup is very tricky. It wins the 1 shield, but Frostlass can also reach a Powder Snow breakpoint on Skuntank, which flips the 1 shield matchup completely. Instead of living after the second avalanche because you shield the first one, you die instantly to the second avalanche because the Powder Snow damage does 1 more. So there's like a little, like IVs are going to come into play for a lot of Skuntank's matchups. But on the flip side, it is very good as an anti-charmer, okay against Frostlass, Hypno. And then the Ferrothorn matchup is what I really like about it. So it can beat Ferrothorn all shields if it's going, straight flamethrower. There are certain situations, I think, where if Ferrothorn's running like Flash Cannon or something, and I would have to double check, but the 1 or 2 that IV dependent could flip the matchup, but usually Skuntank actually just has a really good matchup. There's one matchup in particular, though, with Ferrothorn that again, also a little worrying, which is why Skuntank, for me, even though I like it a lot, I'm nervous because a lot of its matchups coming down to what moves do the other Pokemon have and what IVs do they have. So with Ferrothorn, it can win the 0-1 shield disadvantage if Ferrothorn isn't running Flash Cannon or Thunder. So if Ferrothorn is running Mirror Shot, and there's a big case for Mirror Shot, right, with Whimsicott and Granble running around, but if it's running Mirror Shot, Skuntank can win at a shield disadvantage. But if it's not, if it's running Thunder or Flash Cannon, Skuntank is going to lose that one. So there's that one too. But yeah, instead of rambling all over the place, overall summary, Skuntank does well against Charmers, Frostlass, Hypno, and I like that it does good against Ferrothorn. Sure, some of the matchups are like IV dependent, or you got to hit this breakpoint or that breakpoint, but overall, seems like a really solid Pokemon. Things you have to worry about, though, Flygon and Quagsire, of course. You're absolutely fucked if you see a Flygon. You're absolutely fucked if you see a Quagsire. But you have really good grass matchups, which is awesome. I do like that. And in practice anyway, I've been pairing it with Alolan Muck, which can seem kind of strange, but I feel like Hypno is such a powerful pick. I like just having the 2 darks right there, and 2 darks that only take neutral damage from Charm is very nice. But yeah, that's kind of what I have to say. If you want to break up Andrew's Granbull, you're not going to do it with a Skuntank. It'll still roll over it in the 1 and 2, but it'll keep it close. So
cool. Well, I was going to say it's interesting that you mentioned about the Alolan Muck, because I was going to say, what sets Skuntank aside from the Alolan Muck? What do you think that frees up for you in the pick? You know, obviously they're in different slots, which is useful, but running them both, that reminds me of I can't remember what cup.
Sorcerer's Cup.
Sorcerer's Cup, when you ran them both. Not you personally, but when royally they were ran together. I'm getting horrid flashbacks.
Yeah, so am I.
But yeah,
being able to swap out during CMP.
Yeah,
it makes a good case for, like, if you don't want to run the Granbull and you want to have a Skuntank as sort of your anti-charmer, it actually makes a good case to run Whimsicott in that slot. Even though Whimsicott is no Granbull, but because, like, obviously, like, for the reasons Andrew listed earlier, like, obviously it's going to get wrecked by Ferrothorn. You don't have any option against it. But yeah, it still gives you an option to, hey, I want to run a Dark and I want to run a Charmer. Well, I can do it like this so that I have a Pokemon that does okay against rival Dark type Pokemon.
The Dark Poisons have high safety in general, so if you wanted a Dark Poison but you didn't want Muck, you want to free up the Muck slot, then Skuntank gives you a Dark Poison in another slot.
Yeah.
Or running the both together is an option, because they're not heavily countered. I mean, the worst matchups I think in this cup are the grounds, but chances are your opponent only has 1 ground, and you can still damage them because you're dealing neutral damage with your dark moves, or maybe like return or something with a Skuntank. So yeah, you could run them together with some sort of anti-ground lead or something.
The cool thing is, if you see a Whimsicott on your opponent's team, you're not going to see a Flygon, so that's like really cool. It really depends on, I guess, how heavily people are influenced by the PvPoke rankings as well, because obviously Whimsicott is rank 1 on PvPoke, but we've listed a lot of reasons why we think that Whimsicott might not necessarily be the one.
No, please run Whimsicott by all means. I Skuntank would love to see that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you see a Whimsicott and then you don't see a Flygon, and that's great news.
Yeah.
Oh man,
they could have Quagsire as their ground type, but Quagsire takes a lot. It doesn't play quite like some of the faster Mud Boys. It takes a lot longer to get to the move that one-shots the Dark Poison. So yeah, you have a higher chance of flipping the Quagsire matchup, I think, than with some other Mud Boys.
Slight little detour. The fucking 30-second switch timer at the moment. Is anybody planning on playing a cup with this live?
No, I think my first cup starts on the 5th itself, so right after.
I think me and Andrew are in one that starts tomorrow.
Okay.
No, it's been postponed.
Has it been postponed? Damn
I think yeah.
I was looking forward to it, but okay, fine, good. In that case, good. Okay.
Because you have to do half the cup at high speed, right? Or like not high speed, half switch timer, and then partway through the cup it would have changed. So I guess
it would have changed, yeah.
So when that got announced, my initial thoughts on how it would like impact the meta of GBL was, okay, well, what about Pokemon that can get to moves quickly so that you can safe swap them, and then if they come in with a hard counter, well, you get to a move, you use that move, and then your clock's pretty much up. And my first thought was Flygon, and my second thought was Galarian Rapidash. And because Flygon's so good in this cup, if you happen to be playing in a tournament where there's a 30-second timer and you swap onto Flygon and you get like one mud shot in, they swap onto, I don't know, you get the Dragon Claw off, and then you're out again. I think that's really cool. How would you? I think that the 30-second timer is so fun. I don't know whether it's Niantic like playtesting it and that they're going to keep it, or potentially changing it in the future.
Oh, they should keep it.
Yeah,
I think they are playtesting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're definitely like testing it, because if it was just an April Fool's joke, it would have just been one day. But then they extended
Not
it.
being able to recover yourself from like really bad matchups, like GBL, a lot of it is like you win the lead, like there isn't always an option to come back from it. There's an option now, you know, you manage your energy right, you know, you can and timing your switches is like so important, because it's only 30 seconds. Like you can't even like it's not as good to stay in and farm a little and then swap out, because the timer just misaligned so badly. There's a whole nother like strategy. Yeah, I feel like this is taking more skill than it was before, and I really like it. I like that it's making me think. It's on like you know, you're on your feet. But on the flip side, it is also creating its own meta of Weather Ballers, and Sableye, and Deoxys, and Talonflame, because they Umbreon, yes, Umbreon is fucking everywhere.
I really, really love it, and I find that, like, so let's just say I'm a Venusaur lead and I'm leading into an Umbreon. If you catch the foul play on like a Sableye or on something, and then you switch, you've put that 10 seconds in between you and your opponent, and then they come in with the Swampert, say, and then when you're
throw one move
up, you get like 10 seconds of Vine Whips in before they can switch back out, and it's just on that, and it's like it really, I think it's really, really fun, and if you I think I said as well that I feel like it adds a higher skill ceiling to Pokemon Go, because you know, it will really, really reward people that can count effectively, know their energy, know their charge moves, know how much it takes to get to what, and can manage all of those like really, really quickly. Like 60 seconds is a long time to be like, okay, well, I'm stuck in this matchup. Okay, what's my play? Okay,
it's much faster paced. Sometimes it's pure chaos. Like it's just it's weather ball, bail, weather ball, bail, foul play, bail. It's just like, oh my god, I can't keep up. Sometimes your brain is just like, shit, how much energy does the first Pokemon have? How much energy does the second? Like, you have to. I feel like now you have to actually focus. Now you have to genuinely focus. Whereas before, with a 60-second timer, it's like, well, I'm here for 60 seconds. I can think through I have time to think. You know, now there's no time. I've just
gotten Galarian Rapidash in my head. Like
that was going to be what I was going to talk about. It's slot free. It beats all the fighters. You'd be happy to know as a psychic type. It's a cool Pokemon. Josh, you ran it on a stream, didn't you? Or was it like
I didn't run it on stream. I ran it. It was my first ever test stream with you guys.
Yeah, that's the one.
And it was the most fun I've ever had. It was so fun.
It honestly felt like a really, really strong Pokemon.
I mean, that was with 60-second timer. Imagine now that you can bail out of a G-Fist matchup.
Jesus, yeah.
Quicker.
Safe switch.
Well, I was thinking something similar, but with Celio.
Okay.
Celio's nice too.
Yeah.
Celio's interesting.
I was gonna pick Celio if for a cup if the 30 seconds.
Well, it's actually really good in this cup. Like
I was actually gonna pick it if the 30-second timer stayed. I was like, hell yeah, I can spam body slams and bails. You know.
At the moment, it kind of feels like, right, how quickly can I work out all three of my opponent's Pokemon? And it's like you swap, and then all of a sudden it's just like, okay, it's like I've got like a cork
the new meta is having all three Pokemon
like attached to this Pokemon. Like, okay.
Yeah, the new meta is having all three Pokemon alive, but with half HP and like 2 and 1 shield.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
And I just want to run Rapidash in this 30-second timer shit for GBL just to see what happens, because there's Sableye, there's actually Sableye probably still beats it, but like there's Umbreon and Scrafty like everywhere. So I mean, Galarian Rapidash could just have some play on like a really well thought out team.
Cool. Right. So did anyone have any closing notes about Skuntank?
It's cool.
Oh yeah. We're
Prismatic, yes. Skuntank, right.
Skuntank.
I mean, I like it. It's definitely a solid answer to Whimsicott. Definitely doesn't want to see that thing. But I think you're going to have serious issues with like the grounds, the Mud Boys, Flygon. So you're going to have to cover with it, right?
Yeah, that's the one issue for sure.
We haven't covered Skuntank moveset.
Oh,
right. Well, Skunk Tank moveset, like I think definitely flamethrower. Like you don't really have a need for Sludge Bomb, especially because if you run Sludge Bomb, you are going to be walled by Ferrothorn, which I think is the one matchup where, like, a lot of the matches
are neutral, but
sorry.
Crunches, crunches for neutrals, you're not quite walled, but yeah, you can't kill it as easy as you can with Flamethrower.
Yeah, well, I think if you don't run Ferrothorn, actually, Ferrothorn ends up picking up the 1 and 2 against Skunk Tank.
Yeah,
you have to run Flare, and then in against Alolan Muck as well, you want the Flamethrower to more easily beat it. And also something I actually did not know, but this is why I should learn more shit. In the Zero Shields versus Frostlass, like, you still win going Crunch, but it is better to go for Flamethrower if you want to survive with more health. So I didn't know that, but apparently that's a thing.
Oh, interesting. So, elaborate, sorry?
Oh, no, I'm just saying in the Zero Shields against Frost, you want to go straight Flamethrower rather than Crunch. You still survive both times, but by going straight Flamethrower, you're going to survive with more health.
In which
just a zero.
Oh, interesting.
I'm seeing.
Isn't Flamethrower 10 more energy?
I'm seeing Frostlass get into Crunch range before you reach a Flamethrower.
Yeah, you get to Crunch first, but maybe I'm looking at this wrong. The PV Poke had it listed as go straight for Flamethrower. In the Zero Shield anyway, and let me just double check this.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter either way because you can.
No, you win the Zero Shields no matter what you go for.
Looks like you're left on 20 HP regardless.
Let's see here.
Maybe you were down,
assuming
like
a default.
We've all been in those PV pokes.
So with Flamethrower, you're left with 26, and then if you go straight Crunch, you're left with let's see, you're left with 16. So yeah,
it might be due to a fast move timing thing rather than a rather than the actual move itself. I think it might be to do with whether the Frostlass gets a Powder Snow or something.
Yeah, maybe.
And
but yeah, it doesn't impact the Zero Shields there. But yeah, overall, I think Flamethrower it's neutral enough that it'll pick up anything that Sludge Bomb can do. Flamethrower can do, really.
Cool.
So there's no point in losing doing way worse against Ferrothorn and Alolan Muck by not having Flamethrower. Yeah.
And there's no bite.
Yeah, and you don't have Azu here, so you don't have anything that resists both Flamethrower and Crunch, I think.
Yeah.
Unlike in Sorcerer's Cup.
Cool.
That is true.
And
yes, thank God Azu is banned.
Yeah, thank God. Finally, there's no play for bite over Poison Jab.
If you want to, if you want to just take down Hypno and Frostlass with fast move damage, sure. Or do neutral fast move damage to Ferrothorn, go for it. I don't even know if you can win against the Ferrothorn using Bite.
Probably not, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. Right, and finally, I am going to be talking about Forretress, the old famed by Speediest Chief. I really like Forretress. I was looking at Wormadam because obviously everyone loves Wormadam, very, very solid Pokemon. And I was like, what's Wormadam but cooler? And I thought Forretress. It actually ranks pretty highly in PV Poke for the Prismatic Cup. It's ranked 52nd, sorry. But that's obviously simming Mirror Shot Earthquake, so it is really, really heavily bait dependent in its sims, I think. But it beats Hypno in all shields, even when the Hypno runs. Actually, I'm not sure about the Zero. Definitely beats Hypno in the one shield. I checked. Even when the Hypno is running Fire Punch, you win, but obviously only by so little that it's probably IV dependent.
Not bait dependent to win. You go straight.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Forretress. Everything's going to be bait dependent. You're going to have to land the Mirror Shot shielded and then the Earthquake. But yeah, so it beats Hypno, it beats Lantern. I'm just looking through Shiftry, obviously. It beats Ferrothorn, Quagsire, and it's in that elusive purple-grey zone, which I said I didn't think was the most important zone. So yeah, I would be losing Gramble, and the more Andrew spoke about Gramble, the more I realized actually, yeah, Gramble's pretty good. But you know what Gramble loses to? Loses to Fortress, I think, potentially.
You think? Well, that's a bold statement. Hold on, we're gonna back it up.
Oh god. Oh
I guess
god.
your
Someone
biggest
sim it.
problem with
I mean,
Fort
it
and then
should.
would be Slot
Yeah.
2.
It takes
should do.
neutral
It
from
resists
I mean, they
Start.
both have resisted fast moves, don't they? But
yeah,
yeah, I reckon.
mirror shot spam.
I reckon-
enough.
Oh yeah, the mirror shot, yeah.
Yeah, if
Probably.
you just spam mirror shot, you win
Yeah.
even in the two
Earthquake.
shields.
Or we
Yeah,
could you just assume that my Fortress has the moves needed to beat Gramble, so
Right.
Fortress is running
Oh,
mirror
man.
shot, heavy slam.
Fortress even beats it in the zero shields as well. You get
It
to an
looks
earthquake before it
like-
can close combat you.
It looks like a complex matchup actually, because if you just give Fortress mirror shot, it loses the 0 against Gramble.
Oh wow.
So it looks like even though
you need
mirror
the
shot's
Earthquake.
slightly higher DP than Earthquake because it's super effective, it looks like sometimes you
lines
need
up.
the amount of energy that you get to use, you need to use an Earthquake sometimes.
yeah,
But it looks like it could be complicated, that matchup.
yeah, it loses to Flygon in the one shields, and the sims say that Flygon had 1 HP, so it's really close. Obviously, it's going to get eaten alive by the fires, and I used to hate the double weakness cups where, you know, Toxicroak was really, really strong, and there were Hypnos everywhere. I used to dread it because it felt like one of those games where you're just aligning, like, so you don't get killed in 4 fast moves. But now I embrace it. After a Lowland Sandshrew, I'm just like, yeah, why not? Because like last cup, I was like, no, I'm not going to run a Lowland Sandshrew because it's weak to fighting, 4 times weak to fighting and fire, and there's too much Primeape and too much Ninetales around. And then I matched up against Andrew, and I looked at his team, and I was like, damn, that team looks pretty weak to a Lowland Sandshrew. And it's just like, so I feel like Fortress, like, you're only ever going to see 1 fire on their team, and the rest of it, it's
Talonflame.
Yeah,
Or Blaze
Talonflame.
again.
Yeah, and
I think
it does well against everything else. Like it'll do damage to every other type, and it's not going to get mullered by too much else. I don't feel like, you know, resist fighting. Well, no, it's neutral to fighting.
Neutral.
Sorry,
And grounds.
it's neutral to ground. It is a really cool typing combination, and I
It is,
don't
yeah.
feel like
I agree.
fires are going to be.
Fire is its only weakness,
Yeah.
which is quite unusual, especially when you're a steel type, which has loads of resistances. When you have only 1 weakness, that is quite interesting typing.
if you are going to run a Fortress, I guess there's a big case to like run maybe a water in slot 1 and then bring Sudowoodo or something, like really stack up your fire counters.
Yeah,
Because if Fortress only has the 1 weakness, it could really flip something for you.
I like that.
Yeah, I agree with you about the
Making
unique
notes.
typing. I do love the bug steel typing. It's so much so. I mean, I love Sizzle. Sizzle's probably one of my favorite Pokemon. But
Whoa, it beats
Actually,
Quagsire.
I looked into Genesect. That you mentioned it, Elliot,
Ah,
and I was so disappointed that when they released it in raids with the new move,
Burn Drive.
Burn Drive. Yeah, there's Fire Burn Drive as well, specifically.
Techno
But
Blast, I
You,
think was the word.
that's it, Techno Blast, whatever. You can't get a Great League one with Techno Blast.
unless you elite TM it.
No, you
Oh,
can't
so-
elite team it.
Why not?
It's unique to its own. Each Genesect is unique to its own.
Oh, it's a
Techno
form.
Blast. It's a
Oh, the
form.
base
form,
CPs
Yeah,
are too
so it's
high,
like
weren't they?
Deoxys, but yeah, it only gets. So that one they released gets Technoblast Fire, and then the next one's gonna get Electric or whatever.
'Cause it's-
So
yeah,
the one
'cause
we all got from research or whatever, and yeah, is
It's not
stuck
gonna
without a
get
Technoblast,
Technoblast.
which
Ah,
is
that's-
literally its best possible move.
yeah.
It's such a nuke as well. It's a really good, it's really powerful move.
insane. I was like, why can't they just allow us to elite TM it? You know, but
Yeah.
alas,
That's
Because I think the Burn Drive actually makes it a different Pokemon. I think that's their like
yeah.
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 Technically.
So maybe when form changes, data mined. So maybe if form changes go live, we could form change our research gene sex.
Oh my
that
god!
would be
Yes,
awesome.
please. Yes, please.
Oh my god. Oh god. How many drives are there? Imagine that. Imagine there's
5, I
There's a
think.
few,
It's
yeah.
gonna be like Hypno on crack. isn't it?
Fire, electric, water.
Poison, I think.
Is there poison as well?
Oh my god.
Pretty sure, yeah. There's a poison one. I'm just gonna
No
look
way.
it up just real quick. Yeah. If I'm remembering correctly, there should be one with poison.
There's electric, water, ice, fire. I think that's it.
Oh, no poison.
Oh, so just 4. Oh, okay, wow.
Interesting. Either way, yeah, they sound terrifying.
But they are nukes. Like we're talking
Just
like
the elemental
crazy damage.
types. Yeah.
Oh no, there's
Oh
five.
no! There's 5. There's normal. There's normal.
Yeah, there's no
normal
more.
douse
That's not.
shock.
But we don't technically have that. It doesn't exist, right?
Oh right, it's a normal type Technoblast.
Yeah. There's a normal type.
Yeah.
If no drive is held, it's normal type. If fire,
We-
burn
yeah,
drive
we
is
didn't get
held,
that, yeah.
it's fire. Chill drive, ice.
Oh,
But
what if
the way
like a
they've done it
Genesect with
is
body slam.
yeah. The way they've done it is they've released it as a different form. So fire form, ice form, water form, electric form.
Normal douse shock.
Which means
burn
the one we
shell.
have should technically be given normal form, Technoblast. It should be given it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
But we
Damn, I
don't.
thought one of them got poisoned.
Yeah, so forget about Fortress, Elliot. We're
Yeah.
conversation.
And
here.
if that happens, all on the Genesect train.
Fortress was so Rainbow Cup, Elliot. It's all about Genesect.
yeah, Fortress was so winning worlds 2020. It was 2020, wasn't it?
Mate,
Yeah.
yeah. Speedy's Chief is a god for
Yeah,
I love it.
Genesect isn't eligible.
Oh no, I think I'm not sure what type douse is, but Genesect douse does get a poison move. It gets gunk shot. That's its
Oh,
That's its
right.
thing.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
There you go. Cool. Okay, back to Fortress. I'm just gonna pick 3 random Pokemon off the top of my head. Meganium, Shiftry, Lantern, and it beats all of those guys. So
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
from a
It's
random
Fire
selection,
From a random selection, that's impressive.
of Prismatic
Wow.
picks, it beats all 3 of them.
Let's hope your opponent brings all 3.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. And I will bring 3 Fortress.
Oh, those were the days back in Boulder Cup. Was it? Yeah, you know, you could have like 3 Skarmories or some crap.
Jesus Christ. Double.
We've come a long
Anti-Team,
way since
yeah.
then, haven't we?
Yeah. Cool. I haven't got too much to say about Fortress. I think it's a cool pick. I might run it. It does seem pretty safe, and at the very worst, it can just be bench pressure to make them feel compelled to play their fire type, and that's good because then that stops them bringing something else. The old Alolan Dugtrio strategy, as I like to call it.
I like it. No, I like it. I think bench pressure is a huge thing in team building.
Yeah. Oh, Mango died, and now he's back.
Sorry, I got a phone call quickly. So.
That's all good. So we have just a couple of minutes left. So I thought I'd do some trivia. There you go. We love trivia.
Okay.
We'll make it a competition. There's cash on the prize. Mango's kindly put up some money. No. I just thought we'd test your move knowledge on some Pokemon. So if I said name Escavalier's charge moves, you
Oh, I got this.
Yeah, okay.
Drill run,
Aerial Ace,
Mega Horn, Acid Spray.
There you
Acid
go.
Spray.
Cool. But what if I did something crazier like Clefairy? What charge moves?
Clefairy, not Clefable.
Not Clefable.
Clefairy?
If you said Clefable, Meteor Mash, Moonblast, Psychic.
Yeah, but if I said Lantern, it would be Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, and Zap Cannon. But I didn't say that. I said Clefairy.
Clefairy?
Hold on, we can work this out. We can work this out, right? It's a fairy type, right? It's a fairy
It has
type.
to be Moonblast, right?
I don't
It's gotta
know.
have Moonblast.
No. It's probably got something stupid like Body Slam.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess.
maybe Disarming Voice would be the third.
It's gonna have a really shit. It's gonna have a shit. It's gonna have a shit fairy move, a really shit one. So probably Disarming Voice.
Isn't Disarming Voice alright? Because it's like the only fast fairy charge move.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, I think you might be, unless I've mixed it up. Yeah. The
I
bad
thought
one
it
is
was terrible.
the bad one is It's another 2-word name that I've completely forgotten. It will come back to me.
I think I know. Yeah, all right, yeah.
Draining Kiss is what you
Oh,
think.
Draining Kiss, yeah, the one that
Oh,
became
the
curly
one
for no
that
reason.
Yeah.
That is really bad.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
Well, I can tell you it gets Body Slam, it gets Disarming
Hey!
Voice, and it gets Moonblast. So
Oh,
congratulations.
that's amazing.
Oh,
How
it
did
gets
we
both.
get that? It's always
It gets
yeah.
both.
Yeah. And,
It's a
what
good thing we
about-
didn't
what
have the
about fast
internet
moves?
available to access
Oh,
any
pound?
information about that.
It should get pound, I'm
It
guessing.
does get pound, yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Charm? No, Zen Headbutt. It would
everyone's
get Zen
favorite
Headbutt.
Zen Headbutt. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And finally, Alolan Vulpix.
This is because obviously Clefairy's terrible.
Alolan
This is
Vulpix
obviously
gets
not
Body
relevant to
Slam,
anyone.
Powder
Oh
Spell.
god, no! This is just Pokemon Go trivia. I thought.
Wait, Alolan
Vulpix gets Weatherball now, doesn't it? Since the update.
Oh yeah, Vulpix
yeah,
gets Weather Ball
Weather
too.
Ball Fire, right?
Does
Was it
Alolan
Alolan or
Vulpix
they both got Weather Ball, but it depends which one we're talking about.
Does Alolan Vulpix also
Are you
get
talking
Crunch?
specifically Alolan or not?
I'm talking.
No, he's saying Alolan.
Vulpix.
Yeah.
Normal
Okay, so
Vulpix.
it does
So we
get
got
Weather
Weather
Ball,
Ball.
but it'll be Weather Ball Ice, yeah.
We knew Vulpix from Little Cup. It had Body Slam, it had
Weather
Ember as a
Ball.
first move, I think. Now it gets Weather Ball.
Yeah, but that's regular Vulpix.
That's regular
The
Vulpix.
ice Alolan version is ice, right? So it won't. It will
Yeah.
get different
Oh, I
moves.
thought it was normal. We're doing.
No, we're doing Alolan.
Sorry.
No, we're doing
Okay, we're
Alolan.
doing.
Oh my
Oh, wait,
God.
Blizzard. Crunch and
It's
Blizzard.
complete and
Yeah.
utter chaos.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take a bold guess. I reckon it's gonna have to have an ice move, but it'll be one of those moves that you never want to use. So it'll probably be like a nuke. Like
As Weather Ball because it was given
It'll probably
Weather
be
Ball
Blizzard.
during the.
Cool.
I
It does
for
have
some
Weather
reason
Ball
felt like it
because
had-
Yeah,
it was
it
given
has to have
when
Weather Ball, we
Ninetales
know
was given
that.
it.
Yeah.
Blizzard,
I can
I'm guessing
confirm it
Blizzard
has
as
Weather
well.
Ball.
Blizzard has
I
been
can
used
confirm
for
it
it.
has Blizzard.
Hey, it does have Blizzard.
Anyone else?
Okay, I have no idea what else. I,
Crunch is not
I said
quite
Body
there.
Slam
Crunch is close, but not quite there.
Body Slam is close.
It doesn't-
Crunch is close. It gets
Body
Dark
Slam,
Pulse
nerd.
and Ice Beam.
Oh,
Wait, it
is
gets
a dark move. I
Pulse,
just
really?
did it.
Dark Pulse, yeah.
No way.
Crunch was a good.
Dark
Crunch was a
move,
good
I just
guess. To be
couldn't
fair,
remember what.
Crunch was a good guess.
Yeah. I
It was a
think
good guess.
I think they were just like, Ice Alolan basic forms. Let's give them all Dark type moves.
Oh man, it's so tragic. It only goes to 998, even at 50.
998. Do you know?
But
I
they
reckon
got
there's
it.
going to be.
When level
I re-
70 comes out.
Yeah, level. No, hold on.
Might as be higher than that.
No, even more likely than that. I reckon that they might do like a toddler cup at some point where it's like not 500 CP but 1000 CP, and that would
That might
That could
be.
be. That could be interesting.
yeah.
Would that
That
be
sounds
better
ridiculous.
if Bronzor doesn't go high enough? It might be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bronzor only goes to 689 CP, so that would eliminate one of the stupidest Pokemon from the
Excellent.
lower cup.
That's what we need. We need
Or at least it would weaken it. It probably still be quite good actually, but it would weaken it.
Elliot approved toddler cup.
Elliot approved toddler cup.
12 seconds later.
Brewer, cut this
I
out.
think that might raise a few questions.
You're gonna have, yeah, you're definitely gonna.
maybe Matt won't be having you on this. Maybe Matt won't be making you host for this thing again. That's,
Brewer lets one person host at one
a
time.
bit of a nail in Elliot's coffin there.
This was going so well, and then I decided to turn it into an
Yeah.
episode of The Chase, and it's just all fucked up.
Oh, Chris Hansen's gonna be a guest star next.
Well, Chris Hansen
Trivia.
himself was like, didn't he get charged for like tax evasion or some shit, or you couldn't pay back something?
Who?
Chris Hansen.
Oh, Chris Hansen. I have no idea. What, the guy from To Catch a Predator? Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's a criminal himself, as it turns out.
Yeah. I was gonna ask like how many volt switches to a solar beam, but I think we'll end it there. The trivia was a
Thank God, please
I
I
say
think
that.
Andrew would just fucking trump all of us there. I
yeah.
think he-
Andrew, how many volt switches to a solar beam out of interest?
16 into 80, isn't it? So what's that? Six? Is that 6 or something?
That's not tough enough, Elliot. Gonna ask him something even harder.
Cool. So takeaways from this podcast: Fortress great, trivia bad.
What?
Mango is paying us all. Matthew Brewer
Right.
is counting stacks and couldn't be here this week. Thank you guys all for being here. We have about like 60 seconds if you guys want to plug anything, shout anything out. Mango, go first. I know you got a Twitch channel.
Oh yeah, come watch me on Twitch. My IGN Dragon Silph, or follow me on Twitter. yeah, I do commentated battles all the time. Decent commentary. So
Cool. Andrew, anything to shout out?
I'm not that great at the self-publicity sort of things on social media, but I guess check.
I'm Andrew. I don't know how many Dragon Breaths to a Giga Impacts.
Yeah. I don't know how to play the game. My Giga Impact knowledge is terrible.
Yeah. That's your new Twitter bio. Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Josh, you are dabbling your little tootsies into streaming.
Yes, I also now I'm just getting into streaming. Twitch.tv/sir_Corey. For some strange reason, someone took Sir Corey without the underscore, and we'll never get it.
Bastard. Yeah.
And
Who
tell
knows?
us about your recent engagement.
Engagement.
I'm just trolling. I just took him off guard.
The fuck?
Josh got so surprised.
I'm like, hold on a second.
Especially Mango.
Mango knows something I don't.
Oh man, spoiler alert.
Oh,
Cool. All right.
thanks for having us on, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
But, hold on, Elliot, what about your shout-outs?
Oh,
No, it's just that way no one cares.
I do nothing.
come on, that's depressing.
Xpentu on Twitter. That's it.
No, you
Follow
commentate.
him. Follow him or
Nice. You
die.
got the spice legacy. Follow him for the spicy.
I'm so out of the
spicy
spice
6
game
Pokemon.
Alolan Dog Trio, Sandshrew,
yeah.
Alolan
The best
Spice
buddy
Master,
Jellybirds in the
20.
world.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have
Elliot
my
was on Gavantra before Gavantra was a thing.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
First in the cup it got buffed, then the cup Volt Switch got buffed.
Yeah.
Elliot used, what was that? Rose Cup? Was
God.
it? Was it Rose Cup?
Oh yeah. Hang on. Let's have a look through my card.
Yeah, you used the
Yeah, he was on it before it was cool, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys
So,
are too kind.
start using Fortress, because
Maybe
He's ahead of the curve.
maybe I'm ahead.
No, I think that's where Elliot's behind the curve. Gavantra, he was ahead, and here he's about a year and a half.
oh,
2 years behind.
that's hearsay. That's hearsay.
Do you know what?
Elliot's still
Actually,
using
I ran
Rock Tomb
Gavantra
Fortress.
in Fusion Cup.
Oh, Fusion.
Oh, wow.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That
Yeah,
was a long time ago. It was.
That was the cup it was buffed in, wasn't it? So when Volt Switch just got
I
buffed.
seem to remember like not many other people were running it, and it was new out and wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And then Volt Switch.
Yeah, I think Volt Switch got
started.
buffed around the time Galv dropped, didn't it?
I think
Pokemon.
so. We've got so
Yeah.
little time left. Thank you guys so much. It's been great fun. I hope Brewer approves.
Thanks for having us on.
Cheers, guys.
See you
Take
later.
care.
Cheers.
Bye, in a bit. Bye bye.
Yeah.